So let's expand on self concept and why that matters so much. You see, because we have access to both positive and negative affect emotions, means that we can identify with our internal abuser, our bad object inside of us, and we can identify with the good object inside of us. And hopefully, there's a balance and everything's okay. We see the whole object in us and we see the whole object in others, okay? It's basic object relations once you get past the depressive position and you've got empathy forming in your body. But a narcissist doesn't have that. They have an inability to identify with the bad object that was in their life. They idealize the bad object, they internalize the badness, and they created the false self. Or they were idealized as a child and they were allowed to run fucking riot and they had this ideal image because there's either good object, ideal object, or bad object. That's the way it works, okay? So at the end, the passing off of the bad object to us hits our emotional capacities to the fullest extent. Now, what I would say to you is this, and understand this. This introject they tried to hand off to you, this persecutory introject that lived inside of them, that they have been devaluing by devaluing you because they only live in an internal world. So the devaluation of you was just about separating themselves from that internal object. They turned it from an idealized object into a persecutory object. And that's done after discard. That's done like just on discard and thereafter. And then they try to hand it to you because they know you've got the capacity for it. They don't. So this is why they need another object to idealize. They need an idealized object to connect to them, to quell the voices of that persecutory interject. So self concept is incredibly important. It means a lot to us as well, and we have to understand that maybe prior to arriving into these relationships, our self concept was already fairly fragile. It certainly was for me. I identified very heavily with my bad object and had a very strong internal critic. So, you know, this is the key difference between narcissists and ourselves. It's the ability to be able to identify with your bad object, which means that our self concept is rooted in balance and theirs is rooted in one sided fantasy, which avoids the bad object on the other side. Get your heads around object relations. It's going to change your healing. It's going to change your healing, honestly. Peace out. Loads of love.